Okay, Mayor, whenever you're ready, the audio is on. Whenever you're ready to start the meeting at 6, sir.
Okay, I'm ready. Here we go. I call to order the regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, January 19, 2021 at 6 p.m. Let's all rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Dear Father, we thank you for your grace and for your mercy, for your blessings upon us. We ask, my Father, your guidance for the City Council, our mayor, our city staff, my Father, that we make the right decisions for the City of Aransas Pass. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America
States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we're going to go to the consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of this item unless the council member so requests. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting on January 4th, 2021.
I'll second.
I'll second. Mary?
Okay, for passage of item 5.1, Councilmember Abrego,
Yes.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now we're going to go to the city manager, which is consider an act to approve document titled Action Approving Contract with Lineberger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson LLP for fines and fees collected services.
Yes, this mayor that you have before you is an item that is required to approve the notice that was published at City Hall before the item that's going to come right after this. We have some representatives right now from the law firm. Are you guys willing to discuss this right now, Mr. Saucedo?
Yes. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. The first thing that you have, and first of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Stephen Salcedo. I'm a partner with the law firm of Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson. And with me here tonight is Mr. Robert Cuevas, who is the Corpus Christi office manager. You can probably see him in the background. And Gracie Torres, who is the fees and fines coordinator for the Corpus Christi office. City manager, I believe you were asking us a question pertaining to the first item on the agenda, the action approving contract. Would you like me to speak to that?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. The background on this item is that the legislature in 2019 passed a law pertaining to contracts entered into with law firms that charge a contingent fee. Now, this legislation was aimed at the opioid litigation, but it was written broadly enough to encompass our contracts. And our contract to collect your municipal court fees and fines is a contingent fee add-on paid by the defendant. And what this legislation requires is a certain finding of facts that have been presented to the city that has been titled Action Approving Contract with Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson. And our contract approval would require the council to approve this initial document in addition to our contract.
Okay, thank you. So basically, we need to go ahead and approve this first prior to approving the contract that's going to be the next item on the agenda. Does council have any questions?
Yeah, you say that your fee comes from the defendant. What is it, like a percentage out of the fine?
Our fee is an add-on. It's a 30% add-on to the fine owed by the defendant to the city. So if this defendant owes $100 to the city, he's now going to owe $130 once that case is referred to us for collections. We only get paid if we get him in to settle the amounts he owes to the city, and none of the money we get comes from the city funds. Ours is simply an add-on paid by the defendant.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
There isn't any additional cost for this contract that we need to sign?
No, ma'am. Our compensation is solely paid by the defendants that we get into court.
Okay.
Favor of the council?
Make a motion to approve, if I can find it. Now I lost it. Document titled Action Approving Contract with Linebarger, Grogan, Blair, and Sampson LLP for fines and fees collection services.
I second.
Mary?
For passage of item 7.1, Councilmember Abrego,
Aye.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
The item passes.
Okay, now we're gonna go to consider an act to renew the contract with Lineberger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson LLP for municipal court fines and fees collected services for a period beginning on January 19, 2021 through January 19, 2024.
This basically is just entering again into contract with the same firm that we've had. It's a 3-year contract with a 1-year option renewal at the end of the 3 years. Mr. Salcedo, do you have anything else you would like to add to this?
If I may briefly, just for informational purposes, since we started representing the city of Aransas Pass, we have collected over $1,268,000 and have a 61% dollar resolution rate of the monies assigned to us to collect. And in the last 2 years, we have collected over $242,000 for the city and have a 69% dollar resolution rate.
Okay.
We very much would like to continue to act as representing you for the collection of your fees and fines, and we have a very good working relationship with city staff and with the municipal court, and we've been very pleased with our results and would like to continue to represent the city in this capacity.
All right.
I have a question. This is Councilmember Vicky. I was wondering how often do you report to the council? I don't remember getting a report as far as, can we get like a quarterly or a semi-annual report as far as the fees that you have collected directly to the council?
Yes, we'd be happy to give a report at whatever interval the city council would like, and we can get you that information upon request, or we'd be happy to set up a regular reporting period, whatever you would like for us to do.
I would like a regular reporting period. I don't know what the feelings of the other council members, but I would at least like I would say probably a quarterly report. If that is too much, maybe at least a quarterly. I would like a quarterly, if not every 6 months.
I think that, yes.
This is Councilmember Moore. I would actually like a quarterly report minimum, or if it's not too much, a monthly report in order to go with the municipal court report, but quarterly at least.
We can do that. We'd be happy to provide collection information. And just so the council knows, we do keep in close communication with the court, and they do get reports on what we bring in.
Okay.
Terrific. Yeah, the judge is pretty good about putting that on her monthly report for us, but something from you guys would be really good.
We'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
What's the favor of the council?
I make a motion to renew the contract with Linebarger, Grogan, Blair, and Sampson LLP for municipal court fines and fees collection services for a period beginning on January 19th, 2021 through January 19th, 2024.
I'll second.
Mary?
For passage of item 7.2, Councilmember Abrego,
Can we make it at the point that they will provide the quarterly report to us?
yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
will
can do
make
that.
sure. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I vote aye.
Okay, Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
Item passes.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, council members. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go to the monthly municipal court report for December 2020.
Henry?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. For the month of December, on the cases filed, 102, convictions reported, 42, county magistrations, 22, Capus Pro fines, we issued 6, Classic C warrants issued 34, and CID warrants signed 8. We had about 96 walk-ins and 1 protective order. The court has been running like normal, and we've been holding walk-in dockets. Pre-trials are being held virtually. What I'd like to share with the council is that our in-person hearings expired December 31st. And I got an email was issued by the Office of Court Administration on Tuesday, January 5th. This is throughout the state, and they wanted to review the cases and of COVID-19, and then they sent us a criteria that we needed to be recertified. As you recall, Mayor and Councilmember Abrego, we met at the very beginning when the COVID-19 started, and we were shut down for business and hearings. And so we had to come up with a plan that now Chief Pierce helped us put together, and it was approved. And so we opened again for business and also for in-person hearings. Yeah, of course, we had to follow a criteria. Well, they wanted, it expired on the 31st so they could review, and we needed to get recertified, but we had to contact the local authority, the local health authority, to see how many cases were reported for our county. And it took me a couple of days to finally get a hold of Ms. Claire. And she said that 100 cases are being reported weekly. But she said that we were okay to go ahead and continue having in-person hearings as long as we followed the criteria, the mask, the temperature, that when people were coming to court, and our limit here at the Civic Center was 10. We're in the process of moving back to our court, and the space has been reduced. So I need to get together with Chief Pierce to see about how many people we're going to be able to fit in the court. If not, they're just going to have to wait outside in the car. So we're going to be working on that. As soon as I made contact with the local health authority, I started working on the recertification, and I sent it to them the following Thursday. Tuesday, we got our instructions not to have any person hearings. And then by Thursday, I was ready to put everything together so that I could send it to our representative, who is a district judge. And then it's sent to the Office of Court Administration, and they're the liaison for the Supreme Court, because we get ruled by the Supreme Court. So it's a process. So I got word January 12th that our recertification was approved. And it's like, okay, so when can we start with in person? And so I got it this Friday after 5, I think it was like 5:14, that we have been approved to go ahead and move forward with the in-person hearing. So I'm glad we're back. But in the meantime, as soon as, they shut us down for the in-person hearings, we started working to do virtual hearings. Started calling, sending letters to the defendants. And so we got on the ball, because we didn't want to get backlogged like we did when COVID-19 hit. So, we're working on that, being proactive and making sure that we're addressing the cases. Well, now that we can, have them in person, we're going to go back and contact people and offer them that option. The Supreme Court encourages to do as much virtual that we can, and that's by video hearings or teleconferences. So we do mention when defendants call, or we sent the letters, we give them that option. Most of them, they want to come in person. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with the council. And also, we're in the process of moving. Hopefully they'll get our computers connected tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be back home. That's all I got to report. Do y'all have any questions?
Yes, Henry, it's Jan. So are you in court more than one day a week now? Because you were only doing the 1 day a week.
Yes, because of the virtual.
Guess what? Are you in court more than 1 day a week or not? Or
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so when are you in court hearing cases, you personally?
I'm doing virtually teleconferences, and we have them. If it's, if they have multiple cases, we are setting them up for an hour. If they have one case or two, we're setting them for 30 minutes.
How many days a week are you doing this is my question.
Well,
Because you were telling us the last time that you were only working the 1 day a week in the courtroom. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
The reason, ma'am, is that because we were shut down for in-person hearings, so we didn't want to get backlogged. So then we started doing the virtual, and we started setting them up. We started on the 13th. We started on the 13th because we had to give them a notice in writing, and so the 13th, and we've been setting them up like every half hour or an hour. So we've been doing that since the 13th.
So are you in court 5 days a week? Are you in court 4 days a week? How many days are you hearing the actual, how many days are you actually presiding?
I'm in court. It depends on, what we got going, because we have, there's times that we have pre-trials. So I'm going to say from 3 to 4 days a week.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to go to community enrichment. And it's the monthly community enrichment report for December 2020.
Okay, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, y'all can hear me? Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. The second slide is going to be a update on the Civic Center. For the month of December, we hosted one gun show. It was very well attended. We also had another one this month that was very well attended. We had 4 church services, 2 training classes, and 3 private events. The private events in the month of December were smaller, nothing really over 100 people. The audio visual project that has been an ongoing project is the only thing we're missing is one speaker. The speaker is on back order. They did give me the option to get a different speaker, but I wanted them all to match. So out of probably 50 speakers, we're short one speaker, and that does not really interfere with the quality of the sound at all. I mean, yeah, we're going to get that speaker. That's what we paid for, but it's not, it's not that big of a deal to not have that one speaker, working. Aquatic uptake. We are closed. We're planning to open, just like we're planning to open as usual. That's what we're going as business as usual. So we want to be open for the week of spring break. We will be doing all our lifeguard training in March. I have 2 of my managers going for training in February. But we're hoping to open, in May for the school parties. We have been getting some calls for the school parties, but I just don't know if they are going to be into doing field trips or not into doing field trips this year. I don't have a good pulse on that right now. Moving on to the library update, the library staff is doing everything curbside and to go. It's very well attended. People are very happy. We do have walk-up computers available. So you can walk up, there's no time, there's no reservation. They come up and we bring them a laptop, not to their car, but in the front part of the library. We don't limit the time on that. We're just not letting them come inside the main part of the library to sit and do their business. The staff has been helping pre-register people for the vaccination through Walgreens. People that can't get online to sign up for the vaccination, they're calling the library, and the library aides are helping them to sign up for their vaccination. They worked that out with Walgreens and their shots. And then I don't know if y'all saw the paper last week. The library was featured in the paper just about how we all are offering full service. However, it's just kind of different than it has been in the past. Just as it has been for this year, our overdrive, we're having a lot more traffic on that. This is just in the pipeline right now. As a 5 o'clock business day, we do not have all the details worked out, so I don't have very much information, but we will be having a shot clinic at the Civic Center this coming Saturday. Again, this is HEB working out the logistics. I do not know all of the logistics on this as of right now, but that will be happening this weekend. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Sarah, this is Jan. A couple of people asked me last year why we aren't keeping the pool open for family swim a couple more nights a week and a little bit later, because they don't get home till 5 o'clock. They want to have a bite to eat. Then they want to go to the pool. Is that something that we've even considered?
We historically, like a regular year, we do have family nights once a week. This summer, when we did open briefly, we did very modified hours. So right. What our goal is for this year is to go back to regular hours, which would include a family night and open, past 6 or having exercise. I think 2 days a week. This is 2019. We did 2 nights, like Tuesdays, or I think Wednesdays and Thursdays, where we stayed a little bit later. But yes, our goal is to have a regular schedule with, a family night every Monday and stuff like that.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're planning for. So hopefully it will all work out. Any other questions?
I'm just going to add on that vaccine. That is a potential vaccine
thank you, Sandra.
That we're going to use. We don't even know. The reason why we haven't released the information is we don't know if, as of this afternoon, we did not know if the shipment was going to get here. So we didn't want to disseminate this information to the public. And until Lynn, the assistant chief of police, the emergency management coordinator, has been working on this, and he wanted to release it only when we verified that we had the vaccine and we were going to be able to do this. And it's not going to be a drive-up clinic. People will have to enter the building, but have information confirmed that we have received it, the treatment is going to be here, we're going to have the vaccines, then we'll release the information, more information to the public at that time.
Okay, so I'm sorry for bringing that up. I was getting a whole bunch of phone calls and I just didn't have the information because HEB was telling people to call us at the Civic Center. So like at the end of business, I just said, hey, I don't know what's going on. However, as we find out, we will let you know. I mean, I don't have anything except it might be possibly happening. Okay?
There is
Thank you, guys.
tentatively, yes. We're not confirmed yet.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to Development Services, which is consider and act on awarding request for proposal for electrical repairs for the wastewater treatment plant to Nayati Services Incorporated for a cost not to exceed $191,156.52.
Fernando, are you on the call?
There, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is one of our FEMA projects. We went out for bids back in December. We advertised over 3 weeks for this project. We showed a lot of interest. We got 6 bids in. This was the lowest bidder. Engineers did do a conference call with them and verified numbers and information, and they do recommend that we move forward with this contractor. And this would be all the electrical upgrades to the treatment plant. It is a FEMA project, so our portion of it is $4,778.91.
Where is this contractor from?
I would have to look up at the contract where they're from.
I think they're from Sinton.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're here they're Texas based. I just don't recall what location they're at.
Good. Excellent.
Okay, and we really did look at that project to where, here we go again with the change orders.
Yes, we had our electrician go out there too, and we walked it several times and reviewed the plans, and we did catch some mistakes prior to it bidding, so we made those changes, and we're hoping that it goes nice and smooth on this one. We did coordinate with AEP too, because we'll have to shut power down for a while. So the next step is the pre-construction, and we're gonna do more coordination with AEP as well.
I have a question. Is there any, did they have to put up a bond for this?
Yes.
And we do have that, and everything checks out?
Yes, we have all the information, and before we haven't signed a contract yet. This is, once we approve it, we'll get the contract signed and get all the required documentation before we do a notice to proceed.
How long will
Okay, I
this
think
project take?
It is scheduled to take, I believe, 3 months for construction.
I would like to see an update on this, like every council meeting or every other council meeting, so that it doesn't go by the wayside like some of the other projects before. Seems when we put the contractor on notice that it has to be updated, they've got to speak forward, the projects go smoothly. When we don't have someone speaking, they kind of push off to the back, and it extends and we have problems.
Okay.
I agree.
I agree.
And so we will, my question again, we will have their bond before we sign any contracts, correct?
Yes, we'll have that information before we give a notice to proceed with construction.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's in place.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure is.
And we do have
And I'll
liquidated damages attached to these contracts as well.
Yeah, and I was just curious, the remainder, the 4,000 and change, is that is coming out of the fund, or we have some other way of, we have something else paying for that? I was just curious, just for my own information.
This is a water fund. It's going to be coming out of the water and sewer fund. Yes.
Okay.
Any other
Well, if there-
questions?
Mayor,
Is there
just a comment. When that contract comes up, Fernando and Sandra, if you can let me see that so I can make sure that there's language that they're required to submit or physically attend a monthly council meeting for updates on the progress.
Yes, of course. We're not going to have the mayor sign anything prior to your review. Yes, ma'am.
And make sure it's got a deadline, a
Yes.
Yes, sir.
completion date, not a deadline, but a completion date. Okay, favor of the council?
I'll make a motion that we hire the NIATA services and for the electrical repairs to the wastewater treatment plant for a cost not to exceed $191,156.52. And that we will allow Roxanne in order to look at the contract before it's signed.
A second?
Mary?
For passage of item 9.1, Councilmember Abrego,
Aye.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
The bill passes.
Yeah, and the item passes.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to consider and act on awarding request for proposal for SCADA improvement project to the Dedicated Controls LLC for a cost not to exceed $339,198.
So this was another one of our FEMA projects. This one, we had a lot of interest when we had the pre-bid meeting. We had 15 contractors show up for this, and we ended up getting 10 contractors bid on it. So it was very competitive. This company is a Texas-based company, so it's here in Texas. The engineers have met with them as well and verified all the information, and they make recommendation to approve.
What's the city's share of this, Sandra?
It's going to be $8,479 with 75 cents. Let me share that memo. I hadn't downloaded that one. I'm sorry about that. Let me get that up on the screen. Nope, that's not the right one. Sorry. Hold on. 804. Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
No, I can't get it. Sorry about that. I can't get it to share the right one on the screen, but it's going to be for $8,479.95. That's going to be our portion of the $339,000 that this is going to be the cost of this project.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And just how long do they think it will take, Fernando, for this?
This one, once they get building the control panels for these, it was gonna take a little bit longer, but once they have them in, putting them in place wouldn't take that long. So we're estimating about 3 to 4 months for this project as well.
Okay.
And we'll make sure we have the same wordage as the other one, and we'll run it by Roxanne and make sure we have them reporting to council as well.
With a
Okay.
completion date.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Any other questions?
like the mayor's famous comment is no change orders. Make sure that everything's been inspected, that there's not going to be any change. Nothing catches them off guard.
Yes.
Well, if there's change orders, they need to pick up the cost of it because they missed it the first time around.
Well, I think NMB ought to be paying for any change orders because apparently
Yeah.
they're the ones that messed it up. But anyway, that's a different story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I make a motion that we accept Dedicated Controls LLC for the SCADA improvement project for a cost not to exceed $339,198, and that Roxanne will be reviewing the contract and we will have monthly updates.
And a
I'll
completion
second.
date.
Okay, for
Mary?
passage of item 9.2, Councilmember Abrego,
Aye.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
Item passes.
Okay, now we're gonna go to consider an act on approving a contract with Haas Anderson Ltd. to extend the concrete apron from the boat ramp at Conroe Harbor for an amount not to exceed $59,509.29.
This item is before you based on, a while back when we did a settlement on a litigation. We were awarded some money, and I know that the council really wanted to spend the money at the harbor to do some changes there. And Fernando with Chuck and staff have come up with this. Haas Anderson is the company that's doing the EDA grant for us. They're doing the paving for us over there. And so Fernando, do you want to elaborate on this, please?
Yeah, and the reason for bringing this as an emergency work is because they're getting ready to start doing the parking lot at the end of this month or first week of February. And while we have them there, this is the time to do this so that it doesn't cost us more because they're already mobilized and they're in the area. We will have some cost savings on the road project because instead of putting asphalt there, we're replacing it with concrete. But this is going to be built separately as it's not part of the original project. And as you look at the map, right now in yellow is the existing concrete. The red will be the extension.
Nice.
So that's where the most of the wear and tear occurs when they're backing up and the wheels are turning. So by extending it that far out, that will protect that entire area. And then we'll come back in and tie it in with the asphalt and all that. And like I said, we're trying to get this started by the end of this month. They are going to do it in phases, so the boat ramps stay open. They'll probably close down 2 while they do concrete, let it set, and then come back and do the other 2 so that the residents can still use the ramps. They'll just narrow it down to 2 while we're working out there.
We're also asking for this to be a separate item from the EDA grant. That's why they're going to bill us separately. So that way at time of closeout with the grant, we don't muddy the waters there. And we just keep what's the EDA grant on its own. And this is just something extra that the city would like to do separate and apart from the grant, but using the same construction company that's already on site.
I want you to repeat, Sandra, that the funds for this is coming from the lawsuit that we won regarding the ramps and the parking lot, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. That was the desire of the council, that they wanted to use the money here. And from I heard from everybody was that they wanted that improvement to the ramps done. So Fernando and Chuck, and this is what they've come up with. And I'm
that spot has got a lot of holes.
Yes, I know. And I think the mayor was part of, out there, and I know that they had kept him informed also. So yes, I'm assuming that everybody's okay with the plan that staff has presented.
Yes, it's very much needed. It's a great project.
Wonderful.
Yes.
It'd be great to have that highlighted in the newsletter. We have so many.
Yes, it is. I've already wrote that one and another one that's going to be a newsletter item. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I make a motion to award a contract with Haas Anderson Ltd. to extend the concrete apron for the boat ramps at Conroe Harbor for an amount not to exceed $59,509.29.
I'll second.
I said,
For passage of item 9.3,
Just quickly for discussion, do we know what the time frame is for the completion of this project, Fernando?
This one is probably going to take a couple of weeks because we got to let the concrete cure. But that's what they're going to do. Half of the ramps first, let it cure properly before you put any weight on it. So I'm looking at about a month because I would let it sit at least 28 days before we let all the traffic start coming in on it.
And I'm wondering if any of the council members have any ideas on how we can let the boaters, because there's people who come frequently, right? Every week, every weekend, to let them know that we're going to be down 2 boat ramps.
Chuck discussed that already. He was going to get some signs made to put up at the entrance, letting them know that there will be construction in the parking lot and there will be some delays at the ramps while those ramps are being constructed. So he's already looking into some signs.
I wonder if it can be posted on the. I wonder if it can be posted on the city's website, or even I know the chief is good about setting out.
Yeah, so
blast
we'll get
on
the
that.
chamber to post it on their website also.
It probably also
And
would
on
be
the
a great
city
thing
Facebook
for
page.
the mayor and the council members to be made aware when the boat ramps are closed, because they've got so many constituents that use that ramp. At least the council members will know the start and end dates.
Exactly. What is the start and end date?
They're trying to get started at the end of this month, since right now it's a slow season because it's colder. That's what we're trying to get it in before the month of February is over, because in March is when it starts picking up again. So this is the time to do it, and that's what we're hoping to get it approved tonight so that we can get them.
Yes, the sooner the better, because we're gonna run into spring break and summer, so.
Yes.
Exactly. And it wouldn't hurt if we did, you know, put some information on one piece of colored paper 3 or 4 times and have Chuck put them on the windshields of the cars and trucks that are there to remind the people of the times that it's being closed and what we're doing.
And we may also want to run a story, touch bases with the progress, Fernando.
Yes.
And
And
on
with
our
Olin.
Facebook page and everything else, absolutely.
One other thing, Sandra, we may want to contact Texas Parks and Wildlife. Maybe you should have Chuck do that and let them know that we're actually going to have 2 boat ramps closed.
They already know.
Or upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, because they're going to come and inspect the parking lot, and they knew that this was happening. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
Monthly newsletter would be good too.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we ready for the vote?
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Abrego,
Aye.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
The item passes.
Okay, now we're gonna go to consider an act on renewing lease agreement with the Aransas Pass Little League beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending on December 31st, 2021.
This item was something we discussed in the workshop last week. We've already met with the Little League and we have their signed contract. And it's just allowing them to use the fields for the Little League. They're already starting to do registration. I know in the workshop, we also mentioned that we would like the city to start taking over again and beautifying the fields. So we're starting to look at it now so that when it comes to our budget planning, we have an idea of what we have to do out there to bring our fields up to par. And then at a later date, we'll bring that back to council. But this right now is just to get an agreement going with the Little League.
Fernando, I would like to meet with you regarding this because I have some ideas that may be able to raise some funds so that it isn't so, you know, so much on the burden isn't on the city. So, you know, at your convenience, give me a call and let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk with Philip 66 about it also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, since I had to drop off on the call on the workshop, so the city is taking care of the fields inside or just the outside?
No, right now the agreement, they're responsible for it. We're looking at for this next coming year that the city starts taking it over again and starts maintaining it. So we can start looking at budget because right now we're not budgeted to do that. So this year the Little League is still responsible for it. The only thing we take care of is the restrooms, and they pay us a fee for maintaining them monthly.
Okay, so you're looking at putting in the budget for us to maintain the fields inside while they're
Yes.
playing ball?
Yes, and bring them up to par because right now they need a lot of work.
Yeah, we're talking
Okay,
about the
bring them-
infield, the
yeah.
outfield.
Yeah, bringing it up to par, yes, but maintaining most of that was done while by the coaches and the staff before each game. They were redoing the dirt. That's going to take a lot of time. Just experience with Rudy being out there and being the president of the Little League. He was there every day working on those fields. I just want to make sure that you know what we're biting when it comes to we're going to maintain the fields. I can see we can bring them up to par, but maintain them while they play games. I don't know. It's just from Rudy, just from what, him being the president for as long as he was, all the work that was involved for maintaining the fields as they were playing. So just make sure that we've really thought about this because, like I said, it takes a lot of time if you really want to maintain them.
Well, we just got to make sure they're nice and pretty.
Well, I'm just saying it's going to take you at least about 4 or 5 guys to do that about 2 or 3 hours a day, if not longer. I'm just giving you heads up from what Rudy did.
Yeah, I know. I used to do that myself.
Nice and pretty. Yeah, nice and pretty. Yes, I can understand that, but got to know what it's
Yes,
going to take as far as city workers. So just want to make sure we got all that figured out.
Yeah, I did my fair share in the early 90s when I first moved into Aransas Pass. I know exactly what it takes to keep them up.
Yeah, I experienced from Rudy.
Mhm.
It's not like a 30-minute job each day,
No, ma'am, it's like a daily job.
3 or 4 hours daily.
Mhm.
That's just my thought.
I agree, Vicky.
I think we all do.
That's why we have a hard time keeping a little league and having the volunteers, because it takes a lot of work to maintain the fields, and that's why I'll say it again. It's the city's responsibility. It's one of the recreations that the city ought to be able to afford and keep going, so we can have something for the citizens to be able to do.
That's right.
And what I'm saying is, I understand totally and completely what you're saying about, Vicky, about it being a cost to be able to keep it up. But hey, I see all our other surrounding towns that do the same thing, and it's just part of something that we got to do for our citizens to make it nice and pretty and make it playable and presentable to everybody.
I agree.
Well, I just don't want the responsibility to be totally on the city. That's what the Little League, when they sign on the board, that's what they're supposed to be doing. So if they can get the volunteers out there of the board to work some of the fields, some of the days, that would be awesome. This is my point. I wasn't there on the discussion, so, and I apologize. Just wanted to give my 1 cent.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, me personally, it's just a city's responsibility to keep them up and have the citizens of Aransas Pass to be able to have a little league that has people that will volunteer to be able to have practice with them and not have to worry so much about keeping up the fields, because practice alone to maintain and have to go to games is quite a bit. But anyway, favor of the council, any more discussion? Do we have a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to renew the lease agreement with the Aransas Pass Little League beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending on December 31st, 2021.
I'll second.
Mary?
For passage of item 9.4, Councilmember Abrego,
Aye.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
Item passes.
Okay, now we're going to go to consider and act on the issuance of a request for proposals for the use of the softball field complex.
So this one here is just getting permission to advertise it in the paper for the use of the fields and see if we get any people interested. And we do this every year, so I just wanted to get permission to go ahead and proceed with it.
Well, I make the motion that we authorize staff to publish a RFP for the use of the softball field complex for the year 2021.
I'll second.
For passage of item 9.5, Councilmember Abrego,
Aye.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
The item passes.
Okay, now we're going to go to the monthly public works report for December 2020.
All right, this is the last item, I promise. For the month of December, the streets and drainage wasn't too busy. I was paving because of the weather, but they did a lot of maintenance with street sweeping and curb and gutter. They did some stop signs or sign replacements and potholes. The utility department, our biggest one, was stop sewers and water and sewer breaks because of the cold weather. Since people start using I guess greasier foods for the holidays, they started washing them down the sink and all that grease gets stuck in the system. And then lines that we have some of them are in bad shape. So with the weather changing, we tend to get breaks. For the projects, the harbor bulkhead, we're going out for bids. The plan's advertised starting tomorrow, and we're advertising them for 3 weeks so we can get plenty of opportunities to get bidders in. Harbor master building, we had a meeting with a contractor, serious sit down with them on Friday. We've been having some issues with them. We got some notice this morning that they've agreed to bring everything with the changes we were demanding them to do. So those changes are taking place this week, and there's hopefully going to start moving in the drywall material, start closing it up on the inside by next week. City Hall roof, I'm glad to report that as of Friday last week, we did a walkthrough and everything's done, complete. We're going to be closing it out. The electrical work at the Harbor Point Park, the fixtures came in and they're scheduled to be completed by this week. And we're doing a final walkthrough and punch list on Monday next week. And hopefully we can close it out on that day. Treatment mat electrical, we just awarded that tonight and we'll be presenting that in the next couple of months. Storm pump station number 1 and 2, these are part of FEMA. The engineers will have preliminary plans ready for city staff to review by the end of this week. And then based on changes and stuff, then hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we'll be coming back to get permission and go out for bids on this project. This is also a FEMA project. On the CDBG DR projects, the Staff and McCampbell being the main one, we have submitted everything required to GLO. We're just waiting on the final green light from them, and we're hoping to get it here at the end of the month. And once we get that, we can proceed with bidding out that project. The SCADA project as well, we just awarded it tonight, and we'll be coming back to the council with monthly meetings and updates. Water tower road paving. Staff has begun to prep the road. I'll be heading out there tomorrow to do a final inspection on it, and if it's all said and done, we can pave it next week. Clarifier number 2 project, we had some issues here with a contractor. They finally got him to come in and do their work, and we'll be wrapping this project up next week as well. Harbor Road project, they've started phase 3 on Bigelow. Phase 1 and 2 are completely open now, and the turnabout is complete. And we just approved tonight to do the concrete apron on the ramps, and the paving for the parking lot there should begin towards the end of this month or early first week of February. City Hall, PD, and court flooring. If I'm not mistaken, they should be closing it up today. They were there finishing up the last office at City Hall this afternoon. So by tomorrow morning, the entire project is complete. We have moved the filing cabinets back into the courtroom, and Judge's new desks were being put together today. So she should be available to get her computers in tomorrow and back in her office. And we'll be able to close this project out. Pending a final walkthrough tomorrow, we should be able to close it out this week. And then a quick update on Newberry Park. We have ordered all the material. The benches, tables, and trash receptacles have been delivered and they've been assembled by staff. The park equipment, the slides and the swings and all that will be delivered and start on March 22nd and be completed on April 3rd, which would be the weekend of Good Friday. So the park, hopefully we can get a ribbon cutting right before the Good Friday to open it up to the residents. That's a quick little rundown on the major projects going on. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, Fernando, on the Newberry Park, I had a couple of people ask me if there was going to be any fencing around the park.
We've been discussing that. Right now, there is no fencing, and it is in a high traffic area. We're working with Keep Aransas Beautiful. They're going to be doing all the landscaping there with their donations. They are talking to a third party group that wants to do a project here, and we are requesting that they do a decorative fencing around the park. So right now we're in discussions. Hopefully we can get more information and bring it back to council once we get that information.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think there needs to be fencing there. It is a high traffic area.
Yes.
Fernando, I did have
also, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Vicky. That's fine, Councilwoman.
I was wondering, Fernando, if they were going to, the city was going to trim some of those trees that are there?
Yes, once we start bringing in, right now, all the old concrete stuff has been removed. The trees that were dead on the ground, the telephone pole, all that stuff are being removed and started filling in all the ruts. Next step is to do some trimming on the low hanging branches and the dead branches. And then, like I said, in March, they'll start bringing in all the new equipment, and we'll start installing the new tables and benches, and then start doing all the landscaping with in conjunction with Keep Aransas Beautiful.
Okay, so they're just kind of trim up the trees there, because sometimes that keeps them from letting the sun in to help the grass grow or something along that line. So just to kind of make it look nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Fernando.
No problem.
I have a question, Fernando, on the lights for the downtown. I know that you've got
Yes.
the lights in front of what used to be the old Bank of America building. What is the status on those? I know there's a couple of the lights there. I just want to make sure that even the one in front of Dr. Binder's office has been repaired. I just want to make sure that all the lights, because that for some reason we seem to have issues with those lights. So what is the status going to be on when those lights are going to be replaced
Yeah, those
in front of
lights.
the old Bank of America?
Yeah, we've had a lot of issues with those lights. They've been out there several times to fix them. We've even hired a contractor to come in and do work out there. There is issues with the actual lights on top. If I'm not mistaken, Sandra, we're waiting on some quotes, correct, to replace those lights completely?
Yes, Mr. Gomez, John was getting us the quotes to replace the actual fixtures, because he said that is what's wrong. It's no longer the electrical. He feels that at this time, he's saying that it's the actual fixtures themselves that need to be replaced. And I've asked him to get us the quotes so that we can bring this before council. So I'm sure the council will approve once we receive the quotes, but we need to see how much that's going to run us. Yes, sir.
Okay, so but there is going to be repairs done to the lights in front of the old Bank of America building.
Yes, that will all be taken care of as well.
Okay, when we get the new lights in, are they going to be fixed now?
If we can do it, I asked to get a contractor to come in and do it. But that hopefully we can get that done quicker. So I'm waiting on a quote on that one right now too.
Okay. Now I have another question regarding lights. Okay, tell me if this is the place to address it or not. I noticed that there are different lights as far as the street lights that are out. Do we have someone on staff that is going around at night to have those lights reported in to AEP to get them repaired? Because I know the city pays a fee to AEP for those lights. And I noticed that if you go down to the, commercial past the Taqueria de Oro?
Yes.
If you're going down toward the west, going toward Rockport, all those lights are out completely. And they have been out. They have been out for a while. So, what do you have in place, Fernando, to have those lights called in? Is there like a weekly inspection, monthly inspection? I just want to know.
Yeah, PD's been really good. They've been since they're up patrolling at night. They submit to us a list, and Chief just mentioned about a month or two ago they submitted a report to us. We go through it and we identify which ones belong to us and which ones. And then we submit that to AEP with the PO numbers. And then AEP comes back out and addresses the ones that belong to the city. So yeah, PD gives us a list of those.
Okay, when you said that they belong to the city, and they're not the ones that are, we're not reporting any of the ones that are in the customer's property, right? Because those are the ones that take responsible for reporting their own. But
yeah, if they have
a
PO number to them, we report it regardless, so that is identified to AEP. But we're AEP, we separate the ones that are city owned, and then any other ones, because we don't know who they belong to. If we have a PO number, we'll submit it because it's already been reported. But we don't know who it belongs to. But as long as there's a PO number, we'll submit it in.
Okay. So is there a follow-up as far as if it's 2 months and AEP hasn't repaired them? Do we follow up with them, or do you have a contact with AEP?
I'll follow up today, tomorrow, with my admin. She submits a list. She separates them and then submits them to AP, and I'll ask her to follow up and see what the status is. It's been, like the chief said, it's been about a month since we got the list and we started submitting it in. So we'll do a follow up.
Okay. So just to wrap up on my comment on this, so the police department is the one that's going around and inspecting those lights. When they're out patrolling, they do report those in to you
Yes, they
guys.
do. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council?
Fernando, are you gonna do the report for Burl, or is he on the line?
I'm on the
I
line.
don't know. Yeah, he
Okay,
don't know.
thank you, Burl.
Good evening, city manager, mayor, and
Hold
council
on.
members.
The mayor hasn't called your item yet. I didn't know you were there, Burl. Sorry.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the monthly building department report for December 2021.
Good evening, city manager, mayor, and council members. The report for December 2020, in fees, we have $18,988.64. As far as our permits that have been issued, if you look on the next page, we're one short of last year. We're at 107, and last year we had 108. There's a difference over on the fees that have been collected. Last year at this time, it was $77,107. This year it's that $18,988.64. That's because last year we had the new apartments come in, and they're on track. They should be finishing up here in the next month or two. They have their leasing offices open, and I believe Matt Higgins told me he was at almost 75% that they've had ready to lease. So the B is on the contractor's back to hurry up and finish up so these folks can move in. We've done 984 permits for this fiscal year, and our year to date is $201,348.61. We do have a new Starbucks coming to town. I do not know when they're going to break ground. It should be pretty soon because they got their permits, I believe, last week. I went through their plans along with OSE over in the planning department and addressed some issues with them. The high school, they are going to start work on their concession stand. They're going to do a nice concession stand for the fields over there. So with that, are there any questions?
Yes, I had mentioned this last week in my weekly update to the city as well. And everyone, of course, is curious to know where Starbucks is going to be located.
It's going to be over by Lowe's. And forgive me, I can't remember. All I remember the gentleman's name is Mo Matagi, that filling station over there. It's going to be behind the filling station. Yeah, it's not a very big piece of land, but it's right there. So it should be pretty easy to get in and out.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about. So that piece of property has been for sale for a long time. So it's between the convenience store and Lowe's.
Yes, ma'am.
Good deal.
It's a good location.
Yes.
I agree with Chief Blanchard. This is really newsworthy and it should be submitted to the paper and the news.
I agree. We just need more businesses.
Well, as I said, I think this is probably the beginning of more bigger names to come.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
That's all. Thank you, Burl. We appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you, Burl. Okay, now we're gonna go to the finance and Sandra, monthly finance department report for 2020.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. All right, for the monthly report, the one that we're going to be looking at right now is for the month of November. So for the month of November, the actual revenues exceeded the budgeted revenues, and the actual expenditures were less than what was budgeted, for the exception of the hotel motel, but that's due on collections. As you can see here, it's a graph representing the green is the budgeted revenues, the gray is the budgeted expenditures, and their respective lines where they fall within each one. This next slide represents the collections year to date from October 1st to November 30th for property tax. As you can see, our number here in 2021. Then this is the sales tax collected year to date for this 2 months. As you can see, 411,000 versus 399 last year versus 377 the year before that. So our sales tax, with all things considering with the COVID, people are shopping more locally. They don't want to go into Corpus or Portland, which that benefits us because our sales tax has a chance to increase. And this is all three of the whole 2 pennies. This is the crime control, MDD, and the city year-to-date numbers. Does anybody have any questions? That's my presentation, Mayor, for the financials.
Thank you,
Okay, now-
Sandra. I think the city's doing a good job.
Ma'am, thank you. Now we're gonna go to the first quarter report.
Yes, this is our first quarter investment report for the fiscal year. We had a total of $7.7 million to invest. We earned $3,474 on those $7 million. Unfortunately, interest rates are not what they used to be. Our return on our investment is 0.18%. The benchmark was 0.09%. So obviously we exceeded our benchmark. We have our money is in 3 primary banks. 23% of our money is at Prosperity. 44% of our money is at Tax Pool, and 38% of our money is at Texas Class. Does anybody have any questions about the investment report? That concludes my presentation on that.
Thanks, Sandra.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we're gonna go to public safety. It's the monthly public safety report, December 2020.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. It's good to be with you guys again this evening. Had a long furlough there for a while. Just the regular report here, as you can see up top. Oh, I hate this first statistic to tell you, or stat to tell you. We actually closed a murder case. We obtained an indictment on another case, manslaughter, same thing. And then a case that we told you about, I think we went public about a death investigation. I think this was in a newly annexed area of Aransas Pass. It actually turned out to be a murder, unfortunately. So we kind of closed 3 murders this past month. Anyways, we also recovered the city water pump that had been stolen a while back. Actually, it was recovered with the help of Public Works. So thank you guys, Fernando, your crew there. We added Jeffrey Cooper as a reserve. I haven't really had reserves for a while, but I went ahead and picked up Jeffrey Cooper. We also hired a new patrol officer, Steve Torres. Just finished the military in the academy in San Antonio and wanted to come to Aransas Pass, so we picked him up. It was a busy month for patrol with DWIs. Holidays, that's common. We put some through training. We got our second annual telecommunicators conference or symposium planned. We're the only place in the state that does this level of training for public safety dispatchers. And this is our second year. First year was a huge hit. We're going to knock it out of the park again this year, I hope. We have two new dispatchers, Callie Simpson. I would introduce them to you if they were present, but they're not at the meeting. So Callie comes from Corpus Christi Metrocom, and Christy Generali is a local resident. She wanted to join our team. She's been very supportive. There are the numbers that you can kind of see there. We're pretty much on par with everything that you notice there. There's our if you go up, sorry, I'm scrolling mine trying to tell you everything that I'm seeing, but we had our monthly department surveys there. Everything mostly was good on those, it looks like. And then you got the breakdown of stats and everything. And if you recalled, you guys heard me make a comment before the meeting started, and somebody, one of the council members had commented on it. We're about to close another cold case. I'm very excited about this case, and I can't wait to bring you that information. My investigative captain, Kyle Rhodes, has been doing an amazing job staying on top of some of these colder cases and trying to seek closure. So very soon we'll have some big news that we'll be bringing out to the public and everything. That's all I got, Mayor and Council. Thank you guys for giving me this time.
Thank you, Chief. Great
Oh,
job to you and your entire department. Stay safe.
One more thing. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate it. One more thing. There is a chit chat with Chief coming up this Thursday, and I've prepared some reports. I've been getting beaten up for not releasing mugshots. And I also, first time ever, I want you guys to know how productive we've been with our police boat. So I have a report prepared for you, and I think you're going to be quite interested to learn about the information we put out. So come tune in Thursday evening, public as well, chit chat with Chief, and then that's your time to put the gloves on and give it to me. I want to know where we screw up or where we're not making you happy, because that's how we need to focus, where we need to focus and work to improve. Thank you again, Council.
What time is it Thursday?
It'll kick off around 5:15 p.m. I usually do it that day every month because it's right before the crime board meeting. So it's very convenient.
Perfect.
All right, we look forward
Thank
to it.
you. Okay, now we're gonna go into the monthly fire department report for December 2020.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. For December, we have 54 calls. 12 of those were fires. The guys did have a pretty bad fire off on Johnson Road. The person didn't make it out. That was pretty tough for them. Usually in December, for some reason, we get quite a bit of fires in December. That's just been the way it goes here. Further down on the page, you can see the breakdown of exactly what we had for that month. If you guys want to look at that. Of course, medical is always a high one. We always have a lot of medical. Further down on the page is our training, and you could see exactly what the guys are training on under the class there and category. You can see what kind of topics and disciplines they're training on. And for this month, we had 112 hours of training for December. Further down, if we keep on going down, we got our inspections. We had, let me see what we got here. We had 13 inspections, 4 re-inspections for December. COVID kind of put a damper on inspections because we always got to go out with these, making contacts with business owners, and with the COVID, it was kind of hard to do that. So hopefully we're planning this 2021 to catching up on all our inspections and getting up to par on that. For the year, we've ran 750 calls for the year. 409 of those were, of course, medical, and 114 of those were fires. Further down, of course, there's the breakdown again. If you guys want to look at exactly what type of calls we're getting, there's a variety of all kinds of things. Keep on going down. Of course, there's our training again, and it's just all the categories that we've been training on. Of course, for the year for training, we've gone, I think it's 1,535 hours of training for the year of 2020, and 110 inspections for the year of 2020. So that's all I have. If anyone has any questions about anything. That's all I got, guys.
Great report. Thank you. And y'all stay safe.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to city council or staff announcements. Sandra?
Oh, yes, hold on, Mayor. We're going to, okay, we're gonna have the Employee of the Year presentation on January the 29th, that coincides with the Chamber banquet. The Employee of the Year has already been selected. We're tentatively also going to be calling hopefully for a special meeting before the end of the month. I do apologize about this. We need to approve changes to our drought contingency plan, and we need to move into stage 1 of the drought contingency plan. But before we do that, we need to approve the changes to the plan. Our plan needs to mirror that of Corpus, so we're gonna be bringing that before you for discussion, hopefully next week on Monday. That's the date that tentatively, right, Mary? Yes, that's right. We're going to be selecting, if everybody is in agreement to next Monday and can make next Monday a 5:30 meeting would be what we would be calling a special meeting for that. Roxanne, would you be able to attend? I don't know, Roxanne has meetings. Yes?
Yes, and I'm going to try to see if I can work on some of the ordinances that we talked about in the workshop.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so those are my comments at this time, staff announcements.
Okay, we're gonna go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for the matters that are not scheduled on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advise that this subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
Mayor, there was no comments that were submitted and no comments that were posted online.
Okay, well then now we're gonna go into executive session, section 551.074, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public office, or employee, city manager, and then section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to Industrial District Agreement Number 7 between the city and Dagger Island Partners LLC for a term beginning January 1st, 2016 and continuing until December 31st, 2030.
Okay, I'll let you know when we're off live.
Okay.
Voy a visitar la casa, voy a visitar la casa de los papás de
Okay, he's back. He's on there. I see him.
Okay, there he is.
Yes.
Okay, he's getting ready. Hold on. He still has that city council.
We're ready.
Okay, we're ready, Mayor.
Okay,
Okay, yeah. he just-
we're going to reconvene in open session to consider and take action, if any, on any item discussed in executive session. And we're going to go to 15.4, which is consider, discuss, and take action to assign San Patricio County Appraisal District number 7762 under Industrial District Agreement number 7 from Dagger Island Partners LTD to South Texas Gateway Terminal LLC to be known as Industrial District Agreement number 7A, which is applicable to 468.64 acres tract of land.
I make a
So,
motion that we assign the San Patricio County Appraisal District number 70762 under the Industrial District Agreement number 7A from Dagger Island Partners LTD to South Texas Gateway Terminals LLC, now to be known as Industrial District Agreement 7A, which is applicable to 468.64 acre tract of land.
I'll second.
Mary,
For passage of item 15.4, Councilmember Abrego,
Aye.
Councilmember Knight,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Aye.
and Councilmember Scruggs.
Aye.
The item passes.
And the famous words are, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
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 Okay.